Welcome everyone, welcome. Thank you for everyone for coming tonight. I don't know what you guys are expecting for people that haven't come to an evening with the beings. I will say go with the flow, and the mantra for these energies called the beings is to always go within. So to go within is to be able to just put down your ego for a bit, just put it seated, to be able to really feel frequencies and feel the energy of what is being said, the energy of the room, the energy of each other. And sometimes we don't have the chance to really understand what it means when we say we are all one, because we have society in life and we're getting on with life and we're trying to figure out life, and we don't have time to just be in the present and embrace the oneness of who we are. And when I say the oneness, I'm talking about the chair, the water, the air, you know, the glass that is made out of sand, which is the connection of energy, the whole oneness. And these events are about that. Even if it's for this moment, even if it's for these hours, we do embrace the oneness. And by doing that, you're able to tap in to your inner self. And this is what really this event's about. So how this evening will be agenda, if you want to call it an agenda, is an introduction. So we're going to talk about, myself and Annette going to talk about our connection and our journey with the beings, how it came, the scenario, the story about it. And then myself, I'll go into something called a vortex. And what the vortex is that I go into a space of nothingness for the beings to channel, to talk through me. I call it the energy of death, because I don't know I'm here, I don't remember anything, I don't remember I'm married or I've got kids or I've got grandkids or I'm in this space with you guys. I'm in just the energy of oneness while they're channeling me. And when I come out of my channel, most of the time I don't really remember everything. That's the reason why we record. And a lot of people now, because this has been growing from hearsay with regards to the messages from the beings, and a lot of people are starting to ask for like recordings and stuff like that. So we're starting to record it now because of it. Not just that, it's good to document, because they might say things that's definitely not for now, you know, and it's good to document it, to remember. And even you guys, you're here tonight and you might not remember everything, and at least you know, okay, I can go onto YouTube and re-hear what they had to say or revisit the event. Yeah. So I think that's it for tonight. There will be questions and answers from the beings, so they will say questions, and I would say this is your chance to really ask anything that you want to, literally anything. They're not readers, they're not storytellers, or they're not mediumships or clairvoyants in that way, where if you ask them something personal, they will probably answer you. They probably will answer you, but it'd be their way, and it wouldn't be in a human way. So you'd be like, what does that mean? You know, because they're about the oneness of who we are. They're about the universe. They're about the environment. They're about getting a message out to us humans, for us to remember why we're here, remember our contract, and to remember that we are so separated right now as humans. And I'm not even talking about humans to humans, I'm talking about separating of how we are with everything, you know. So they want to be able to bring back from separation back to oneness. Now, how we're going to do that as humans is going to take time. I'm talking about a cycle. of generations for us to be able to get to that oneness again, which we can do, yeah, and they're going to tell you more. So that's just my little thing about the event, and just a little bit about the beings and where they're coming from. So you know that, okay, they're about the universe, they're about the environment, they're about nature, they're about the elements, they're about the oneness, yeah? So we're going to start with the introduction. Do you want to go first this time, or?
No, I think you need to start it.
So it's just that I'm doing a lot of talking, which I do that. When I'm away from these events, or when I'm doing my energy meditation or energy work, I'm in silence. So I'm like one extreme to the next. I don't really interact with humans as much, and I'm really within my own space and doing my own thing. So my background is I've always had an inkling of, why am I here? I'm not really here. And I've always had that inkling. It's nothing new to me. It's been very clear in my core that I'm not really meant to be here. I know I'm human, but I'm not really meant to be here. So when I was very young, I took long to speak, and it wasn't until I was an adult, I'm talking about recently, I always knew, but I was diagnosed with being on the spectrum of autism, and I've got other conditions that my contract chose for a reason. So I've been epileptic for over 20 odd years. I don't have no seizures now or nothing like that, but the energy is still around, and I love that because I'm able to help others. I'm dyslexic, so I see words and anything to do with academic on a completely different way to others. I see it completely different. And that was my growing up. Now, between 1 and 10, I used to go traveling at night. So I used to go to these places in my sleep, and I would see like it's like a tunnel at the top of my bedroom, and I'll go into this tunnel, and then I'll go off to wherever I'm going. And I knew I went somewhere, and this was like under 10 years old. I didn't tell anyone, no one knew, but I knew I went somewhere because I would end up sometimes in the bathroom, or I would end up on the floor, not on my bed, or I would end up with bruises. So I'd think, okay, I've been somewhere. I wasn't scared. It was just an experience that I loved. My family and my mother will always say that because I never spoke, I only spoke to things that weren't there. So they will say spirits. You know, I just was like, I'm playing with these people, and I loved it. And I didn't want to speak because of it. I was so much connected to that spirit world. That's why I knew that, okay, I'm here, but not really here. And when it got to a stage of probably 3, 4, when you can understand thoughts, it was very clear to me that I had to get to know my mum and dad. So I was like, okay, guys, I need to get to know you. I need to get to know you, my older brothers and sisters. I felt like I needed to get to know them. So that was very, very clear to me when I was young. And then when I was 11, the seizures came. And that's where energy of fear started to kick in with everything else that I was doing. Because when others are looking at you, I'm talking about doctors, families, and they're bringing on that fear, I ended up having that fear, because they were like, oh my gosh, you're going to die, this is going to happen, what's seizures, what's epileptic fits, and that energy started to cover me. And with that energy covering me, I became that. So obviously when I was going off with my seizures, because I used to have it in the night, I started to be scared. And that changed a lot of things with my spiritual growth. Within my teens, I went on and done what I needed to do. When I got to in my 20s now, at 25, I had a death experience. So I had my son at 26 and a half weeks. And by having my son, I had a massive seizure, ended up in intensive care. And basically one of us was meant to die. So the priest came, gave me my last rites. I was meant to be off. However, I had an extremely defined experience when I was under. And I went to this place, and it was just of, you know, sometimes when people say they've had a near-death experience, they might see, I don't know, fields or light or something. From my experience, it was just the nothingness of, I called it dark, but it's only because there was no colour. So us humans would say probably black or a dark colour. And it was, I felt like a womb. I was in a womb, and it was just a pure bliss. That's all I could say, just pure bliss. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't remember I was anything, just of this pure bliss. And I heard, it wasn't a voice, but I'm saying it's a voice because I'm talking human now, but it wasn't a voice. It was just sounds and vibrations of, you have to go back. I was like, I don't want to go back. And they said, you have to, because you have to complete your purpose. And then I came back, obviously out of intensive care. They took out my son. He's fine, he's 21 now. And that really started my journey of, okay, I wasn't afraid of death no more, but I needed to understand it. So I started to go on the journey of death. I started to connect to my inner self more, my spiritual side more. And it was a slow process. It didn't come straight away with me just waking up and said, oh, I've had a death experience, because I couldn't tell anyone. I was only 25, so I'm quite young. So it was a slow process of finding myself. Leading up to all that, in 2017, these beings came into my living room. 3 beings. I can show you a picture on my phone if you want me to see afterwards. A massive head, a small body, no eyes, nose, mouth, anything, just a massive head and a small body, and they're always in threes. They were in my living room, near my door. I could see them clearly, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? In my human mind, I'm thinking they're aliens, because that's what they looked like to me. And they said to me very quickly, get a paper and a pencil or pen and draw us. And when you draw us, the fear will go straight away. I'd done that, the fear went straight away. And I started a relationship by that evening, that night. And I put up a post, so I drew them, and I put up a post which said, I think it was something like, are you ready yet? Or,
Humans, are you ready?
yeah, something like that. And I knew that it was coming from a spiritual energy. So I knew that it was going to be, not everyone's going to see the posts, not everyone's going to connect to it. And even if they did, they might say, they always knew I was a bit, you know, spiritual and all there with certain things. So people's just going to go past it. And that did happen. People just went past it, except for one person, which was Annette. And she's going to explain her connection with the beings and that post and what it done for her. Now, 2017, it's been starting to grow, because I started to have a dialogue with these beings. So we used to call them aliens, and then I said, who are you? What are you, aliens? What are you? They said, wherever you want us to be, but we're not aliens, we're just the energy of all things. This is a contract that we've chosen. So I chose to see them at that time, they chose to come, and we're choosing this contract. So I chose to see them in that way. So whatever you want to call us, you can. So we called them Chon, and then we ended up calling them the beings, and we just stuck with the beings. And we had a journey for a couple of months. And what's crucial about this is that it was just very, very quickly. The dialogue, I was just being used, literally messages, and Annette will write them down, and it was just messages after messages. But what comes with that is energy. So you're drawing energy all the time. Now, what I didn't realize is that I was using my ego a lot and not just the oneness of who I was. Now, by using my ego, what I mean by that is I was like, when we was meeting people and we were sharing, so we done like a gathering together, I would always think, okay, the beings have said this. Oh my gosh, that's too straight cut. Okay, let me try and change it for the humans. That's not what you're meant to do. You have to be pure with what you're doing. So because I was using my ego with it, it was drawing energy. So within the months of us doing, we went on a journey. It got to a stage where I was like, I can't do this no more. And I haven't even said, I still had a husband, still had a family. We have a fostering business. Plus I had my own other business going on. It was things that I was doing at the same time. So I said, I just can't do this. I'm feeling drained because people were coming with stuff and people wanted to know. And that was a good thing, but I still wasn't sure with what my contract was. So they were here and I was getting information, but where was that going? What was I doing with that? You know, so me and Annette had our little separation. She went off and connected with the beings and continued, and she went and done a lot of video interviews. She done her thing, that she got it out there, and I just went within. But what I done while I went within is I went for more teachings. So they used to take me to their planet, to their dimension. I would get teachings, I would get information, and I just really said, if I'm going to do this, and this is my purpose, and this is my contract, I don't just want to talk, I need to be it. So I took time out to really be it. So everything that I'm sharing here, everything that the beings are sharing, I do, and I am now. So I've grown to become who I am now. So I was given the name of Sage for a reason, and I didn't want to use it straight away. So I was like, oh, what do I need another, you know? And when you, the beings, I don't know if they're going to talk about it tonight, but they talk about names a lot because words that we use to someone is energy. And when someone's calling you, it's energy for whatever reason, however you want to call it. And some people have their names from birth all the way up. And there's trauma within that. And there's things within that that really triggers them when that name's being called. And they don't even realize that it's that name that triggers something. They might say, oh, I'm down here, or I'm feeling like this, what is it? And it could just be that name being called. And as humans, we are taught that when our birth parents or guardians or whoever it is gives us a name, we have to keep it. You know, we've been trained and we've been, you know, even programmed to say, this is how it goes. You know, we give you a name, your birth name, where you get a birth certificate, and you need to keep that. You know, and don't get me wrong, some people do change their names along the way, but on the whole, we keep our names. And that was really clear for me when the beings were sharing that with me. And I slowly took on the name of Sage, slowly took it on, and I let it just do its thing. So naturally, people started to call me Sage, the Sage Oneness, the Sage, the Sage, the Sage. Now, the Sage is an energy of a person that shares wisdom, that shares storytelling, and shares their gift. That is my contract. So the beings allows a human, if they want to connect with them, they give you your contract. Yeah, for you to say, okay, that makes sense. When I was younger, that's what I wanted to do, or yeah, I've always had that within me. And they give you your contract for you to have the choice to open yourself up while you're here in this earthly realm. So my contract is I'm here to share my gifts for others to be able to find their own within. So I'm not here to start speaking and people say, follow me, because I know best. I don't know best. I only know my contract. But you guys can know your contract too. Yeah? So that is me. I'm not going to go on because I know I can speak. So I'm going to give you over to Annette and be free to speak. I don't think I need to rush now.
No, that's what I mean. Well, Zoe really was say just supported by the energy of Zoe because that's how I connect with her. I mean, she summed it quite up from her point of view, and I can only come in when I came in, which is the morning that I saw the picture of like she said, it looked like an alien. That's exactly what it looked like to me when I looked at it, and I just thought that was so weird, and I had a complete urge from that moment to just find out more. So I went round that evening, and I think they'd come maybe the weekend, maybe the Saturday prior, maybe on the Saturday it turned up, maybe I think on, maybe it was on Monday. Yes. Yeah, they said, oh, what is this about? And I remember it was clear as day, just went, oh, my alien family have come to visit me, and they're here, and they're talking to me, and we're having conversations. And I just found it like, I can't even explain it. It was just like, what are they saying? Can I come around? I want to speak to you about it. An urge is the only way. And leading up to that point, I would have said, I was searching. There was definitely a search. You know, I was watching things on telly, I was looking at mythology, I was looking at religion. I started into all different religions from the age of 20. I couldn't, and I tried a bit of that, and that's not for me, tried a bit of that. There was constant search for why are we here? Why there was, I can't even describe it, that constant searching. And over the years, it literally got, the manifest for it got bigger and bigger and bigger, although I didn't know at that time what was going on really. So 2017, I'm also dyslexic. So, and what the beings have done, I'm jumping forward a bit, over the time that I've been with them, is that they managed to, the first 3 months were, as we said, very, very, very intense. And I was asking questions, and Zoe was, oh, yeah. So I was asking her things to ask the beings, and they were answering me, and anything I could think of, things I was just saying, can you ask them this, can you ask them that, and there was this and that, and it was getting deeper and deeper, but all the time that was happening, it was like an energy. I can't even describe to you the energy that was around when we were talking to them in the first few weeks. I couldn't talk about them without physically shaking, because the energy just, it made me feel different. They were literally turning the reality. I felt like I had my reality turned on my head. One day I had gone in, got talking about the weather and people, you know, star signs and different things to tell you. So the next day talking to people, saying to them, I'm speaking to entities. They've been here for thousands of years. They said they've come in many, many forms, to many people, different shapes. They've been the angels, they've been aliens, they've been everything you can think of. That is them. I said, and they're here now. They're actually here. They're here. They've said that they're coming to show to humans. And I mean, it was just mind blowing. And I mean, when we talk now, I still get a bit excited now. I feel the energy starting to come in a little bit. But yeah, so, and then for 3 months straight, it was 24/7. It was intense. I mean, they were talking about death. They talked about death a lot, actually. They talked about death until we were literally immune to the word death, because they said there's no difference between being dead and alive. It's just a different concept of energy, and your perception of that energy, it's a growth. And they used to say things. I mean, when you speak, and when they speak, I don't know, I can't even describe to you. It's like it touched. It was like a knowing. So, yeah. I don't know what else to say, because you've covered more or less anything. I think I get really emotional. So yeah, this you carry on. I'm feeling it. So. Yeah, they're coming. They're here. That's all. So I think we should go straight. Straight in, and afterwards, you can ask some questions. Really think about when they're here, what you want to ask them. Don't be afraid to ask them literally anything. They are very, because obviously human, they say things like, sometimes if they say we, they might mean all of the whole energy, or they might mean we as the beings. Sometimes they say I, which means all of us, but they say I because it's the oneness. And when they're explaining things, sometimes you might think, what does that mean? What do you mean by that? And so because of that, they do give a lot of examples. They speak a lot about examples for you guys to try and get the concept of what they are saying.
a lot of things ain't going to be logic of how us humans live. And remember, we've been programmed. So we've been taught by others that we need to be a certain way. And that's from our parents all the way up. Oh, this is what you do, this is how you do it. Then you start walking, then you start doing, then you have to go to school, then you have to go. It's just a program, it's one after the other. And then we have children, it's the same thing. So we don't get taught to say, oh, you're babies, okay, let me teach you to go within. Okay, you're hungry or you're crying. Okay, go within, show me in another way what you need. You just don't do that. Yeah. So they're coming with another logic, with another concept. We're switching around the opposite of how we do things as humans. And they're saying if we go and switch it around, which I'm a product of that, and I have done that and I do that, your life just changes where you live every day as peace. You live every day as peace. You live every moment as happiness. And you live every moment as love. So everyone has their own contract in here. Believe it or not, even if you don't believe there is a contract or you're here for a purpose. You're here for a reason. And why do we know this? Because we're visitors. That's what the being says. Yeah. You can come in here for a short time, however long it's going to be, and then you transition on. So that has to be something with purpose somewhere. It's just how you perceive it for yourself. So when we start this vortex, remember I'm not going to be here, so I'm trying to get everything in. So I won't be coming in and out how I am now. So I'm trying to think of things so I can just guide you guys. But when I go into the vortex, anything that you want to ask them, just ask them when it's time for questions, you know, and don't feel like it's going to be silly or I don't want to ask them that because, you know,
they already know what you're going to ask anyway.
Yeah, and not ask.
They already know.
And not ask. But yeah, just be open, and every time I go into the vortex it's different. So I don't know how I'm going to be. There's been people that was here at the last meeting, so they would have had an inkling of how it goes. But I'm really talking about the new people that haven't experienced this before. I don't even know if you've been to an event where someone's been channeled before. I don't know. So it's different each time. But the concept of what they're going to be sharing with you guys is going to be in this moment for you guys' energy. Everywhere we go and do this meeting, there's different energies, isn't it? So they're governing for you guys' energy at this time. Yeah. Okay. So I'm getting ready. I'm getting ready because they're here. So I'm gonna go in. So I'll come back afterwards, guys. So once I'm in, that's it. Welcome for this evening. Welcome for this space and time. We are all here. Just want to walk around, connect with everyone's energy. And we want to connect with everyone's energy, for everyone to feel the love of who you are. We are all one in this earthly world. We're going round to everyone. Feel the energy of the oneness in this one self. I'm going to start. Why? Because it's the energy that creates the earthly. It's the energy that allows humans to have superpowers. Humans come into this world and forget to use their superpowers. Therefore, they have to rely on other humans. Every human on this earthly realm has superpowers. Now, let's talk about elements. Elements ain't just on this earthly realm to feed. Elements are on this earthly realm to also have access to human superpower. We have shared with many humans before with regards to rain. Humans need to use rain more to heal themselves, to heal others. The flames of fire. You can use flames of fire to heal yourself and heal others. Use air, use wind, use the sun, use the moon. We hear a lot and we smile when we hear humans say, "It's changing, it's the moon tonight. Well, this month the moon's going to be a full moon, so my mood is changing." Humans ain't using the elements how they should be using it. The moon is there to heal. The moon is not there for each month to just say, oh, my mood has changed. Go into self. And it will show you how to use the elements to heal. Now, when we say heal, we're not talking heal so you don't die because you're scared of death. We say the word heal, you need to experience the shift of energy. Humans have been using that word heal and healing for wrong aspects of how it's being used. Many people want healing to heal themselves, to not die, to not get ill, to not experience something that they may not like or they don't want to experience. We are telling you healing is an experience to know how to shift energy. See it as a game. And when you shift energy, it will show you what is shifted. That's the healing. You can shift energy through every aspect of a human's body organs, human system, mind. Let's give you an example. There's a lot of humans at the moment that are unsure about a lot of things, that ain't happy, and that energy festers in their mind. They may have past traumas, present traumas. Humans call it mental health. With that same energy of thoughts that go around a person's mind, that doesn't shift, that allows them to get to a place of unhappiness, or humans call it depressed, where they can't shift their thoughts. Use the elements to shift. You will never need medication. Your mind is telling you it needs change. But because humans don't know how to go within and to find the answers within, go without. And by going without to themselves, other humans may give them tablets, medication. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. That is your contract, that's an experience. We are trying to share with you that the elements are not being used how they need to be used. Tomorrow will be sunny, and humans will be okay for a while, and then they will say, it's too hot, disregarding the sun. It was rain outside, and humans will moan just to get wet, just for the rain to go on their clothes. They will moan. They will feel dirty, some. They will disregard the rain. So I want everyone to be able to feel the elements more, go within, let it speak to you. It's a vibration. It's an energy that speaks. And start using the elements for healing work. Healing work on self, healing work on you. Sage does it already. And it allows a human to be able to understand the freedom of energy much more. This leads us to talk about freedom. What does freedom really mean to you? Because unless you are free within, you will never see the freedom without. Unless you feel and see the freedom within, you will never see or feel the freedom without. Freedom allows you to find yourself. If all of you ended up in prison, in a cell tonight, would you feel the freedom within? It's a question for you to go within and to answer that. Because this is what we're talking about, freedom within. Wherever you are, whatever you are doing, you walk with the freedom within. We will say it again. Wherever you are, wherever you walk with the freedom within. Let's go on to the virus. We all have viruses inside a human body. We all have it within us. We're all one. We have viruses within us. Don't be afraid of what comes into your body. Each and every one of you have a connection with your own body. If a virus, a growth, a lump comes into your body, it's for a reason as an individual. Let's talk about that first. It's for a reason. It's showing you something. Don't hate it. For that energy to shift in your body, send it love. Understand what that really means. If something in energy is trying to tell you something, why would you hate it? Why would you disregard it? Why would you violently try and kill it? There's no such thing as killing. It's just energy shifting. Let's go back to the virus. Humans needed a shake-up. Humans needed a loving shake-up. With humans being confused, it allowed nature and all the other elements to do its thing. We'll say that again. With humans having that shake-up and being frightened, and being confused, it allowed nature, the environment, the elements to do their thing. We'll give you something else. The energy of the virus at the moment will never go to any and everyone. The humans that experience the virus are the humans that wanted to for their contract. It's not going to touch everyone because it's not anyone's contract. Not everyone will get the virus. Just like not everyone experiences HIV, virus, cancer, growth, any other illnesses and health conditions. Not every human experiences it. Why? Because everyone has their own contract to bear. Yes, you're going to get people that chose to transition on through the virus. But every moment in time, there's no time. Every moment, humans have to transition on, and humans have to reborn. Every moment is happening now. Thousands, thousands and thousands of humans are transitioning on now. Right this moment. It has to happen that way for birth to come. So right in this moment, thousands and thousands and thousands of humans are being born. When humans starts to look at the world in that way, their life will change. Try not to take on other people's energy. Why? Because they're only doing their contract. No matter how much you might not like it, you might not agree, you might think it's outrageous because they're harming people, or harming others, harming the universe, harming environments. That's what they chose. Humans, for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, you only know to follow and have a leader to tell you how to live, what to do, when to do it. Now it's time where shifting and energy change is coming so rapidly. Humans need to experience going within. This is why we are here, to bring back the oneness, to bring togetherness, to bring love and understand love. Some humans think love means, oh, just my family, or just my friends that I know. If there was a war happening outside, or even the virus happening, they're like, once my family's okay, that's okay. Is that love? What does love mean to you? Now let's go on to animals, insects, trees, plants, grass, earth, stones, fossils. They are all energy. They are all the oneness of who we are. Again, some humans, we will always say some, because there's some humans in this world that don't live like everyone else. And they understand that they're the dimension of the oneness of who they are, and they know this is all an illusion. Remember, oneness means the everything of all energy. So when you're killing the ant, or that spider because you're scared, or that rat because it's in your space, or it could just be you're scared. You're just scared of the spider because you're not used to, having a life with that spider. That spider is you, and you are that spider. When you start to look at life in that way, it shifts and changes your mindset. And when it shifts and changes your mindset, you see the world differently. How can you be afraid to die when you are death? You don't go to death. You are death. How can you be afraid of that animal when you are that animal? How can you be afraid of that water because you've never learned how to swim? And you're scared to go in. You're scared to embrace the water because you think you're going to drown, or you think you're going to, again, die. When you are that water. We are here to share messages for humans to shift energy forms now. Because life is changing rapidly. It changes anyway because it's energy. But more humans are being aware of the change. So they call it waking up or being awoken. We wouldn't call it that, but we're speaking how humans speak. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's no right or there's no wrong. Go within and find who you are. When you start listening, you will hear the vibration of the you telling you how to open up your story. Humans are visitors here. You chose to be here for a reason to experience. Some humans like to call it the school of life. You're here to experience. You're meant to be having fun. You're meant to be enjoying this experience because you're only visitors. Make the most of your time in this illusion. Humans think because you can feel and you can touch yourself and you can touch and you know what it's like to touch your body or touch other people's body or just have thoughts and have a conscious mind that you are alive. You are alive, but in the conscious illusion. It's like a dream in a dream in a dream in a dream. It's a conscious state within the human earthly realm. And when you transition on through the energy of the soul of oneness, that is where the pure bliss allows the energy to embrace the oneness. But you don't have to wait for that. You can embrace that bliss and that oneness here, in this earthly realm, right here, right now. How do you do that? By your calling. There's 3 brains in your body. I know you know this, humans. You have your mind, the heart part, and the gut. The gut is the calling. When you have intuitions, when you have a calling, and you don't know why something's telling you to go this way, or telling you to experience something, or something ain't leaving you, and it's just a calling, and the energies guiding you along the way, but you don't know why, and you're just going, and you're just going, and you're just going. That's the opening of the contract. When you start connecting to that calling, no matter what it is, we have to remind you that there's no bad, there's no good, there's no up, there's no down, there's no left, there's no right, there's no man, there's no woman. It's just energy. So everyone's contract is going to be different for what they chose. Now we have to say it. That contract could be someone being homeless, someone killing, serial killer, killing people, someone choosing to rape others and be inside for the rest of their life, and then they transition on. This earthly realm is meant for the yin and yang. There's other dimensions that has different frequencies. But this one, this earthly realm that humans chose, is meant for the yin and the yang. That's what creates their experiences. That's what creates choice. In this school of learning, it creates the calling to call you in different directions for a reason. Humans shouldn't be condemning others, especially when they don't know why they're here. There's a time when humans will naturally transition into a new species. So there'll be thousands and thousands and thousands of years from now, going to be now. It would seem like humans will be extinct, but they won't be. They'll just be a different evolved species. And to get to that energy field, change has to come. There's more that's going to come in years to come with regards to other viruses, other things that humans have to experience. And it helps humans to grow and to learn. It doesn't have to be anything bad or good or fearful. You have to just learn from it. Why are you experiencing it? Why are you here? Everyone in this room has a contract. You're here for a purpose. If you're doing something, go with your calling, your instinct. Your instinct will tell you, this doesn't feel right. I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. I want to leave work, but I've got bills to pay, so I can't. Go within and ask your higher self. Start using your inner self, your doctor, your higher self, all the energies that's inside of you to guide you. We are telling you to just try that. Just try going within. You will hear the voices, you will hear the vibration, start taking action and see how it goes for you. Because once you start listening, there'll be no going back for you. Your life will start opening up. So you have to ask yourself, while you're here on this earthly realm, what do you want to experience? What do you want to experience? There's no age. There's no age. There's humans that's in this room now that has an old soul. So their souls are so old that they think differently. So their soul, their old soul, which would be their higher self, will be telling them things that would be, I don't think I can do that now, or it's not for now, or this ain't for now, or when they were younger, it was showing them and they were saying, too young, not for now, or their parents were stopping them. Go within to find questions. Ask any questions?
Just think, first thing that comes to your head.
Am I on the right path?
You're laughing. You are on the path that's guiding you to the next step where you need to be. However, you need to be able to listen more and not by listening to others more. So what we mean by that is not just one day say, okay, I'm going to start to try and listen to my inner self or listen to, myself by guidance. What we mean by listening more is by breaking down what you want to experience. So you ask the question, are you on the right track? Everyone's on the right track. Every step that you take is part of the contract. So everyone's on the right track. But everyone has a contract which is a contract of, it's like gifts. So you have thousands and thousands of gifts. And there's some gifts that you have in front of you to open up and you can go with it. And there's some gifts that you can't see and you have to feel it. And when you feel it, you have to just go with that. But you might be walking into something blindness. So the answer to your question is you are on the right track. You only can be on the right track because every moment of your time here on earth is part of the contract. It's about being aware. listening to the awareness of who you are, the awareness.
I have a question. Right, I will ask you things. So, what's going on with our bumblebees? We've got a problem with our bees.
The bumblebees came through when we started off. So we started off opening up this meeting, and we made sounds. And those sounds that we made was bumblebees, whoever connected to the energy. There was a reason why those sounds was the energy of bumblebees. Bumblebees will never be extinct in that way. Bumblebees have an energy of knowing who they are and knowing why they're here. So if you know and you notice how bumblebees' energy is, humans have to protect themselves because they can get stung. They have to be very wary of bumblebees because of the energy of who they are. And that's because they're very strong. They know their purpose of why they're here. You don't need to have any worries about not just bumblebees, the earth. The earth, the nature, the environment. Humans don't need to worry about that. Now we say this because there's humans that chose to come onto this earth to support and help the environment. So you get some humans that go out of their way in this earthly realm to do that. Overall, you don't need to have any concerns or worry about that. They're going through their process. They're doing what they need to do to shift their energy and to find where they're going next in this earthly illusion. When it comes to insects and animals and undersea creatures and all those living entities that humans experience and have around, they have a different conscious mind to you humans. So they're not afraid, they don't have fear. They're not afraid like humans. So they don't worry like humans. You can step on them, you can kill them, you can do whatever you do, you can fear them or whatever. They don't have the conscious mind like humans. What they do have is an offensive side. So their energy will pick up if they need to, the word fight, for their next step, they will do that. You don't need to worry about these or any other natured environment on this earthly realm. That's not for humans to do. Humans' intellect and their conscious mind, especially how they are now, because they're very limited to access to their brain, their intellect. There's only so much that they can do. So other animals, other insects would support each other in that way. And they use the elements continuously, which humans are still not doing.
Two-part question. Do humans make mistakes in their contracts? And I'm referring to taking an injection, and can that be reversed?
Okay. And I really like that question. There is no mistake. And we say this because what is a mistake? A mistake is when something is wrong. But if humans have chosen a contract to experience for them, then it's going to be right for them. This is why we say there's no wrong. You say the word, the injection, so you're talking about the virus. Now, this is where the superpower comes in. Anything that goes into your body, not just humans, but animals and insects, everything that's alive, has waste. It has waste for a reason. Any liquid that goes into your body, any food that goes into your body comes out as waste. That's one aspect of anything that's going into your body. You can detox it out. 2, anything, any liquid, any food, because it's an energy, you can change its form at any time. This is where the superpower comes in. You can change its form at any time. No human needs to be afraid or scared of the vaccine. It's a liquid that can change form. Humans have created it. It hasn't come from the energy of all things. The same way you can create something. Tomorrow you can create food, you can create a liquid, you can create anything that you want for yourself. And then your intention of what you create that you want to go into your body will be what the experience will be. So if a human takes the vaccine and they change the energy, that will be the energy going into their body. Don't be afraid, humans, of how your superpower works. Don't be afraid when other humans are telling you something. This is why you have to go within. And we'll say this as well, if humans are afraid because of death, you need to look at them. Choose not to take something or to use something or to eat something because your calling is telling you that. You have an instinct that this ain't for me, this ain't my contract. Don't do it because you're afraid of death. Because that energy alone is causing other things going on in your body. Fear. Fear energy causes things in your body. Do it because it's not part of your contract. Understand the difference. And if it is fear, work on that fear. Work on that fear if it is because of fear. If you think you're going to die because of the virus or because you're taking injections or because of anything, that energy goes into your body and it festers there every time you have that fear. And if you don't know how to shift the energy or take it out of your body or know when waste or detoxing things out of your body, it will fester. So the answer to that question is there's no mistake. People have their contract for a reason. So let's break down the humans that are choosing to create these vaccines. Humans, you know that vaccines have been going on for many, many years. This is the way some humans have come across dealing with things within your society. Hasn't just been now. There's been other viruses, other injections, all sorts of injections, but there's always something, medication for other things, like cancer, like HIV, other things where it's been created. They've created medicine. They've created tablets and injections and other things to allow humans to experience that. Allow humans to experience that. Not for the sake of to make you stay alive. So the concept of how humans are seeing things are completely the other way round. So we will ask you, what is the difference with all the other vaccines that the humans have created and the vaccine now? Is it because it's new and you don't know it? That's a question.
Oh, directly. Oh, they're asking you, yeah. Why are you scared? Why?
No, I'm not scared.
Okay.
I'm scared of people that I know who are taking it. The first instance,
You've answered your question through waste, through detox, through your thoughts, energy, and change it form. We done an experiment where we asked Sage to take the 2 injections. We asked her, we didn't force her, we asked her to do this. Because when she speaks, she has to speak from experience. She took the 2 injections and changed it form in a second. She changed it form in a second before it even touched her body. How did she do that? By shifting the energy. She changed that vaccine to water, the elements. And when it went into her body, she felt a flower come into her body, a vision of a flower come into her body. And she felt the peace and the love while she changed the energy form of the liquid. Why did she do this? Because it was an experience that she can share to others when she chooses. We are sharing this with you because we need humans to know that the superpower that humans have, we need to start using it. There's more that's going to be coming into this earthly realm, more things, and you need to be able to use the elements to heal self and to heal you. We've given Sage some light codes, and one of the light codes we created for you humans, for some of you humans that are just really, really scared and terrified with what's going on right now. And this one symbol, it shifts the energy. You don't have to take the injection. You don't have to take the injection. How to build your lungs so you don't get the virus? Use the energy of breath. You need to strengthen your immune system. Humans, the food that you eat, the things that you put in your body weakens the immune system. So when viruses come around, which is energy, which you shouldn't hate, it tampers into your body. Nobody needs to do anything on this earthly realm. Why? Because it's only an illusion. It's not real. See it as a game, but within that game you have a choice what to experience. You don't want to take the injection, don't take the injection, but change your energy. Build up your immune system. Look at the stuff that you're putting inside of you. And I'm not just talking about food as in what you eat. I'm talking about your mindset, how you think. Change the way that you think. Humans really go on about things. They're not grateful for who they are just in this moment. Just in this moment, you're at peace. Just in this moment, you don't need anything. Just in this moment, with gratitude to just be. I hope that answers your question in a wider way.
Could you explain how contracts line up with free will?
Contract is the lineage. Okay, let's explain it like a book. You have a book and you have chapters in it. But the difference between this contract is that the book doesn't stop. It's forever, 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 the chapters that comes in it. Every step that you take within your contract, you chose. So you might go left, you might go right, you might go straight, you might go left again, and you might go right. You might think of going right and then stop and have a thought and change your mind and go left. All those was meant to be. That's what you call the free will. You have choices within your contract, but your higher self already knows every step that you're going to take. The ones that you turn back around, the ones that you go up and down, the ones that you're not sure and you keep still, the ones that you have second thoughts on, the ones, all of those was part of the contract. So you're already doing your contract. What we're here is for you guys to be able to open up your contract more, where you can see it, where you can feel it. And by seeing it and feeling it much more, you become more at peace while you're here on this earthly realm. You won't worry about when you're going. You won't worry about death. You won't worry about what's coming next, because it's all part of the process. So worrying, being fearful is something that humans need to work on. So to answer your question is the free will is part of the contract. But free will has a blueprint for this earthly realm. So that's why there's a lot of choices. That's why humans have choices in life. It's part of the blueprint of what this earthly world is, the makeup of the energy through the choices that we have. And this is why when you have humans that say you have to do this, or you must do this, rules, and give rules to other humans, most of the time they don't do it themselves, because that's where the choice comes in. But they think that you should or you have to do something that they say. And if you don't, then they're going to do something because of that. That's commandments. That's giving commands. And when you give commands, you have free will because you don't have to listen to the commands, but they do it in a fearful way for humans to be fearful. And that's been going on for so many thousands of years. Humans have just been born into fear. That is the makeup of what they see. Because you have to remember, a seed that's being created is created with all the energies of that mother and father and grandfather and great-great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather. And if they're coming with a lot of fears, that's going to be your makeup when you come onto this earthly realm. If it's going to be lack of love, if it's going to be a lot of trauma, if your parents had trauma going on, it's going to come into your energy as well. So it's something to just think about humans. When you think about contracts and when you think about free will, you have free will. So use it. Don't be afraid to say no. Even if nobody else in this world is following you, say no. Go with your calling, and it will show you the experience of true bliss. We're going to go now. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being. Thank you for the us. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Na'ai, na'ai, na'ai. Okay, I'm going to turn off the camera and we can just have a little chat just to finish off.
Can I ask what you said? You said 3 times.
Yeah, it's their language. So they have a language, and their language, lower key means welcome. Lower key, it's like welcome the we. It's the we of the oneness of the community. Yeah. Again, I don't remember everything. I really don't remember everything. Trying to remember.
Did someone have the bump? Did someone else have a question about bees?
I didn't have a question, but I saw like about.
Was you
took
feeling
pictures
it?
of them. No, but I took pictures of them the other day on my road.
Yeah, me too. Last 4 days.
Yeah.
That's right. And then all the time, just then when we got questions, I kept getting bee. I knew when they wanted to speak about it because they were just shouting out bees, bees, bees. And I don't know why I said bumblebee. I hadn't said bumblebee. Last time I said that was when I was talking to my grandchildren. I thought, why would I say bumblebee? Why has it come out like that? Yeah, but I was talking to bumblebees. Is that why I got bumblebee? I don't know why, because I was bumblebee. Bumblebee.
Literally through the window, and I was talking to her, going, "You're just so beautiful. How do you say that big body and little wing?"
And not just that word was shouting literally the whole way through, and I thought, when you grow up, yeah, no, it was the bumblebee.
So when they done the buzzing sound, did you connect?
Yeah, well, no, not to that point.
Did you guys connect?
I just, they said later that it was to do with that. Later on, that it was to do with the bum, but I don't. When exactly when the questions came, it was weird because I thought, why bumblebee? Bumblebee, bumblebee.
Maybe because the honeybees. The bumblebees.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
No way. Is
Yeah.
that why they said bumblebee? No, well, I don't know either because it was what was coming to me. Normally, what happens? Well, I've seen a couple of bees like, I haven't seen bees before, but I saw 4 bees overlap, but they're all dead. They're all past bees, and I just thought there's something coming up with bees that I must ask, and then that's why I thought I need to ask the question, because they are elements. They're always saying that they are the elements. They created this illusion. So I wanted to know specifically, really, we're always hearing that the environment is killing off our bees, and they're saying it's an illusion and it's all energy and frequency. So I wanted to hear what their take was on the bees, and they basically said, don't worry about it. Just, keep with the elements that, I mean, they had said before that there's, I don't know if you remember last time that they did say that there's everything's in cycles. So with animals as well, they have their time, and then their time, their story finishes, and that's okay. But we don't know energy enough to realise that, so we just get fearful of everything. Every time there's a change, we just think, oh, there's a change, what's going on? So I'm quite glad, obviously that was meant to be spoken about then, because
Well, they knew that was going to come.
Yeah, they
to
always
start
have
off with the
questions.
breathing sound. Then
yeah, they can't.
they
Of
knew that
course.
I hope you guys got something from it.
Is it tiring?
No, no. It's like I just go somewhere. It reminds me, actually, I don't know why I'm bringing this up, but Mr. and Mrs., that program, and then they used to go into that's how my illusion sees it. So I go off, and then I literally come back. So I'm, I feel like I'm back, but
I was going to ask a question because it was on my mind, and so I know I was going to say I should have asked it because it was shouting, but I didn't ask it, so I'll hold it for next time. Because I wanted to know, because I don't see them, and not many people will see them in our realities. But I was going to ask them because I felt like somebody was asking, am I going to see them? So I was going to say the question, and I thought I don't want to put it on them. So maybe next time I will just say what comes through, because again, it's ego. I get the questions coming through, and sometimes I'm still sitting here talking to them while they're talking with Zoe. I'll be having a conversation saying, oh, I'm not sure if I want to say that. I'm not sure if I really want to.
I'm glad that you picked that up, because this is the whole reason why my energy contract with them has grown, where I go into a vortex. So I don't get the ego thinking, should I say, should I not? Oh, is it this? Is it, because that's what the ego naturally does, because it's not used to this sort of way of thinking or this energy field. So you're going to get your ego saying, is it true? Is it not? Should I say this? Should I not? Oh, I better not. Oh, this is silly. Or what does this mean? And by allowing, everyone's got their own way of how they're going to see the entity and the energy of all things. So somebody's going to see it in a different way. I've seen it in alien form. You see it when you hear them. And that's just feel them.
They show me pictures. It's definitely a difference. It's learning, I think. What I have, which I know they'll do with they're doing with everybody, is he's always talking in mind. But actually, some of those conversations are, you're having conversations with the beings. And it's learning to hear that and identify it and it took a little time, because otherwise people might just say, oh, yeah, well, you think that and you think that, but no, or sometimes those thoughts are coming directly, they're literally channeled straight down to you, because they're connected to everybody. They made a point of saying that I
was just going to say, and it's to do with what you're hearing with regards to the action. And this is what they're saying so much. It's like humans can talk, and they have a lot of talking. Yeah, this needs to be done, I need to do this, and the talking's there, but the action doesn't come. And even if the action comes, you get to a stage of growing more and you become it. And it's when you become it, then you start just experiencing, and that's it. And it's getting to that stage of the talking, then the action, and then the being of becoming whatever that is. Do you know what I mean? And when you experience that, it allows you to really experience what this life is really about, because you end up in like a balloon, even though it's not a balloon, of just the everyday life being the same, of fear, of worry, and then the material side comes in of just getting by, or do you know what I mean, making a life, or relationships and this and all that, and it becomes just a cycle. And while that cycle's going round and round and round, there's so many other dimensions and other energy fields where you can experience different things that just gets blocked. Just the same in our immune system. There's so much things that can get blocked, where I know they spoke about waste because it's just coming to me. And there's so many, us as humans, where our body don't function properly. We're not wasting, we're not taking out our waste properly. So things are staying in us and they're becoming living in us. You know, there's a lot of us that probably has parasites in us and we don't even know that we've got parasites in us because of the foods that we're eating and how we're eating it and how our relationships with it, you know, and not even realizing that whatever food we eat, it had to die, it had to transition on to come to us, you know, and to come into our system to have another experience. Do you know what I mean? And we just do, and we just eat, and we just, you know, so all these things that we're not aware of, and we just do, it causes an effect, and then we want to hate, or we want to be so do you know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh, I've got this now, how could I hate you? I want you to go, you know, and it's just all that energy of just hate or fear or worry that festers, because that brings a different energy to love. And if you was to love it and let it shrink, and let the energy shift its energy, then you're able to experience something else. And it's knowing that difference, you know, so.
And the other thing I just want to say, because
I think, yeah, they're getting ready to go.
I know, I'm going to say quickly because it's just brought to me. At the beginning, they spoke about rainwater. And I don't know if we didn't speak about rainwater last time. So when the beings first came to us, they said to us that humans have forgotten, but rainwater is the best for humans. So I argued it. So I said, what about the airplanes? What about pollution? What about this? What about that? And they said that the elements that are in the rainwater, it's not being tampered with, and it will be the best for you in small doses. Also, they said that if you put it in your eyes and you eat vitamin, well, they said seaweed, but it's vitamin A. They said that's going to be the cure in the future for cataracts. So they're already starting.
I've actually experienced that.
Well, it did happen to you. Yeah. So in the world, it's going to be, when medicine goes out the window, we go to more natural things, because I've seen all that.
But it says it's really about the now.
The now.
I went through menopause quite early, so cataracts was coming in my eyes. So I had cataracts, but the beings was around at the time. We already knew about the water. They just reminded me. And I went and got some tests done, and they were like, cataracts are coming into your eyes. And then the being said, remember the rainwater. And I thought, I've got nothing to lose. So I started to use the rainwater, put it in drops, and I started to put drops in my eye, just like a medication, like anything. And I've done it for 6 months. And then I went back and had another eye test and stuff, and then it's gone. So that's only me though. I'm talking from, again, when we say about talking and then putting it into action, when we put something into action, that's the only way we're going to know if something's going to be a change, a shift, you know, for our own self. And then once we know it, we become it, because we're like, oh, it is working for me. Okay, well, I'm going to do it again. This is how I'm going to do things now. And then you start to shift that energy, and it naturally changes form. And then you don't want to, you can never go back anyway, but you don't want to go back in that cycle of that next illusion. Because why? You've worn that t-shirt. Why would we want to wear that t-shirt again when we've experienced something else? But you have to get there to, it's like faith, isn't it? And having trust in inner self. So, but guys, with this event, we do donations. And another reason why the beings wanted it to do donations, for another shift and another change. In years to come, their money's going to change. There ain't going to be money in the way that it is now. This is our illusion right now. This is how it is. But when you do donations, what that does is that the energy changes from the person's intent. Yeah, the person's intentions of what they wanted to put, why they wanted to put it. You know, it could be a homeless person that comes and he only puts that 1 pence, but that intention of that 1 pence grows into multiple abundance, not just with money I'm talking about, richness within, richness of health, richness of knowledge, richness with love, because it's that person's intention. And so this is the beings that now I'm working with them, they just say donations, literally what you feel, do you know what I mean? And that's why they say 1 pence. Don't be afraid of your intention, do you know what I mean? Because if you notice, it's easy for humans to just give money of what they think a price is, because we're used to that, aren't we? We can afford it or we can't. You know, it's very simple. You know, or if we can't afford it, we might save, or if we can afford it, we can. But with donations, you have to think, do you know what I mean? And you have to go with your intent. And that's what humans ain't really comfortable with. Because they might say, how can I put 1 pence? Like literally, how can I put 1 pence? And I'm saying you can put 1 pence because that 1 pence is going to multiply through energy because it's your intention. Do you know what I mean? And that's where they're coming with that. So that's why, again, I'm putting it into action and it's becoming. So that's it, guys.
Thank you.
Have you got any questions? Like,
I've
I've got one.
have you got any questions?
I've just got one. I mean, I just felt quite heavy actually sitting down when I was in. So I'm not usually a still person. When you was talking, I was going into my zone. My head was heavy and my body was heavy. Is that?
They were
Yeah.
walking around, was here though.
Yeah, so what I'm just going into what they said at the beginning. They were saying that they're opening up for everyone's energy to become one. So depending on how open you are, there were some that would have been able to connect and feel. There'd be some that would feel it in a different way. There'd be some that probably wasn't conscious. Or everyone has their own frequencies with regards to energy. And this is even us now. Do you know what I mean? If we really concentrate, we can all pick up on everyone's energy right now. We all can do it. If we just literally just be within, concentrate, and just let things flow, we'll be able to pick up. Do you know what I mean? And in some of us, we'll be able to go in each other's minds of what they're thinking as well. So it's limitless of what we can do. Do you know what I mean? So what you felt was your energy pulsating with the energy of the beings, because you, for whatever reason, you was open to that and you connected to that.
It's a shame we've got longer because there is so much to share. Go on,
Basically, higher beings, we are all connected energy. So the higher beings are a part of our higher self.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah. That's it's basically they show it like a spider web. So you have a massive spider web, the whole of the universe, and within that spider web, there's separation that we think is separation. Like when we give birth in it, we cut that biblical cord, and you think you're away from, you know, the universe or from your mother or from your father or from your family, but you're not. It's just invisible, but it's energy. So it's through there like a spider web. But it allows us to experience this experience of different contracts and stuff like that.
I was going to say, on a low level, we all kind of feel energy. Like if you're walking, well, I can. When you're walking down the street, you can always tell if somebody's looking at you. You can feel that connect, that energy.
Yeah.
So that somebody's looking at me, you can feel it.
Yeah.
That's on a low level. So
We
we can all do
That's
that.
one of the things the beings were talking about, because they said that we use language. Language is new. So before we had language, we would be more telepathic. with each
Yeah.
other. So
And it's like
language
we've
is
lost
very
that
useful.
now.
So they spoke about that quite a lot, how language, words, even just speaking words is separating you, because as soon as you go to speak, you're separated from thought almost to speak.
And I think with the beings coming in this illusion to share these messages, and these messages can't be shared just the one time, because they know how humans are. You leave here and you'd be like, oh, yeah, I've got something, and then you go back into that world, and then you're back in that cycle or that bubble, you know. So that's why they're here to keep the message going, to keep the message going. And they have got light codes, and they do they call it activation, where they will activate you. And what that activation does is allows you to see more of your contract. So they have light codes that they use through vibrations and sounds, and then they open you up to see your contract. You have to be ready for that. And when you see it, it's not like, okay, well, tomorrow I'm going to start to be doing this now. It doesn't work like that. It's a process of you still finding yourself and understanding what that contract really means, because obstacles are going to come. That's part of your teachings. We need to have the obstacles to learn. How are we going to learn if we didn't have no obstacles? We wouldn't be learning, would we? So the obstacles come our way for us to be able to experience that. And I always give you guys the example of last year when my son said he was sexual abused. You know, he came and told me last year, out of the blue, when he was younger, he was sexual abused. Now, because of who I am, now of who I am, I was able to see it so much different. I was able to support him so much different, completely different. And I said to him, thank you for sharing it now, because if you shared it back when I was in my 20s or whenever, when you was young, I would not have been able to support you and help you and show you what that energy is. Do you know what I mean? In the way that I did last year, you know. And this is what I'm saying about when you shift and when you grow. Obstacles, where you seem like it's obstacles, but it's not, it's experiences. So I saw it as an experience, and my son saw it as, okay, I'm telling my mum now, but I'm telling her now because I know where she is now, and I know what support I'm going to get, and I'm ready for that. So he was ready to go within, he was ready to find himself, and he went and got activated by the beings and got his contract and was able to say, okay, I can see why I had to experience that. If I didn't experience that, I would not have been able to be and I wouldn't be able to be who I am now and go through what I went through. It's part of the process, even though it seems that word, sexual abuse, you know, the words that we use and the concept of it is like, oh my gosh, that is like the energy straight away will be of sadness. The energy, you know what I mean? And I brought it the happiness of energy to shift it. So again, they put me in an experience where I had to say, okay, this is who you are, you're the sage, and you're doing this experience, but how are you going to deal with this now? You need to see your growth. And this is your higher self speaking to you, remember? Because they know what the contract is. So it's like, okay, let's see how you're going to see that. So, was you going to ask something?
Yeah, I don't know.
I know that as well.
Because I've been connecting with you
And
since I got in.
I was thinking,
Yeah, a question that he hasn't asked. I'm
Yeah.
going to say, oh,
I wasn't going to say it.
Yeah.
Well, there was a question I was going to ask, but I'm going to actually not say that. But what I was going to say on the free will contract thing, because I really like that question as well. It's almost like the free will comes into play in this karmic cycle, but that the contract of the determining whatever you want to say, that's on that dharmic, and that's what I was sort of tapping into when I was talking to someone about it. I think with myself, I'm not
Yeah. And it's probably your higher self as well, which is the connection of who you are, the different sides to us. We have different energies within us, don't we? And it's those different energies that we can tap into. And again, this is what we're not. No one's telling us this. You know, we don't know how to do it because we don't remember from thousands of years when it was done before. We've been so, you know, it's like watered down, really, where the percent of brain cells that we use is ridiculous. I'm telling you, it really is. And when we think about this ain't just the brain is all other parts of us as well. It opens us up even more, you know.
I think it was really interesting the way you spoke about doing things. because that's like one of the mantras of my life. Things only happen when you do them.
Yeah.
And I find that I get really irritated when people just talk, and they start talking and my ears close automatically. Because unless you're prepared to do something, you can talk till the cows come home, really. And you said quite a lot about doing.
Because it's about energy shift. So to understand what energy is, yeah, and to know how to work it and to be it and to do is to literally become it. And to become it is because talking is energy, isn't it? But it's a form of energy. But then you can grow within that and say, okay, with the talking, it just leaves with the talking, doesn't it? So I want to go to the next level. Okay, I want to go to the action. Now with the action becomes like repetition, action. When you do repetition, consistency, you become it. And when you become something, because it just is, you don't need to remember no more. It just is. You get up, and most of the time you get up and you naturally just maybe go and have a wash before you go work. It's a natural process. You get tired, you naturally go sleep. Some don't go sleep as quickly. But I mean, your natural body, it's because it's becoming, and we can live like that. But that comes through repetition and consistency, and again, a lot of humans, because everything else is going on, to give time to self, they seem like, oh, I can't, oh, I haven't got time. But then if something was to happen, which can cause a fear, then they want to say, well, how come this has happened and stuff? It's because you haven't given time. You have to be able to give time for self. Do you know what I mean? No matter what you're doing, 9 to 5 job, kids, 10 children, whatever it is, you have to be able to give time to self. Make it part of your life. Because when you give time to self and you're silent and you're quiet, you start to hear your contract. And it's when you hear, the next step though is the doing. Because a lot of people will hear and say, yeah, I heard this, and yes, I heard that, but they're not doing the doing. And they're wondering why. They're sort of like, well, I'm not really happy. And I'm not really this. And I'm not really that. Do you know what I mean? And it's because you're only that because you're stopping yourself from the energy shift, so. Sometimes I think it's because you're
I've got something to go back to you, because you're the youngest one in this room.
How do you know?
Because your generation, they spoke about generations. How old are you? 21, yeah. So you're from my daughter's generation. So they spoke about DNA being DNA evolves, and they literally said that your generation, because they told me my children's children, so my grandchildren, will have a different reality from me. There'll be choices in that reality that we don't have right now. So, and also, I was quite interested to hear your perspective, because you're from the new DNA, opposed to your mum's generation, which is from our DNA. So I thought your DNA will understand it slightly differently, probably more. The way they sort of said it is like every generation is ready for whatever comes to them. And in your generation, you're in the generation of the shift, of this major shift. We've had it thousands.
You're in the generation of not listening as well. You're ready to say no.
Yeah.
You're ready to we want to do things different.
Our way, not this way.
Yeah.
And then the next generation, since grandchildren, I can see by the point that comes up, they're going to look at us like we're living in the Stone Age. They'll literally look at us like, what was you doing for so long? So I can see the shift. So it's interesting that you're here, because we had a few young, I had a couple of juniors from when I was working at hairdressers before that came. And their questions were really like, they had abrupt questions, like, and that's why I thought you had a question, but you weren't prepared to say it, but that's fine. Maybe next time you might say it, or you might think about it. But the younger ones have got the good questions because they don't mess around. They'll go straight in. We had one. Yeah, no fear. One of them before, I remember Michael straight in, and his sister Beans, I want to know, is the earth round or flat? Straight away, didn't he? And we were like, oh, ask that question. I don't want to they laughed actually, and they just said the earth isn't round or flat. They said It's an illusion. It has no shape. It goes. There's no official contract.
There's no
There's no size. They said if you look up, it will keep going, and if you look down, it will keep going. There's no top and no bottom. It's an illusion. And then that, I just thought that was a good example as the young questions, because they're just like, not a minute, not interested. But yeah, so it's really cool. It'd be nice when other people start coming and get different age groups, because I find that my grandchildren come up with things that I just blow my mind.
You get someone from the ages of 0 to 7, because that's when.
Yeah, they're having their own experiences. They're massively, and also when they're that young, their connection is stronger. They haven't had the whole walk in the life of,
Because they're not really thinking about the
yeah,
design.
They have no filter.
no, they say it as it is, and as it channels, it comes out. No, I've got a lot of regard for. I mean, I've always said it. I love our youth, and our youth have had getting a real bad energy onto them, and that needs to shift because they will shift. It will, it will shift.
Well, it's all about
Absolutely.
feeling like a vision, so we just have to stop
Well, the mere
that.
fact that you're here at 21. When I was 21, I was raving in London.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
I was there with you.
Music, outside skaters and get away from whatever was going on. We went out raving and that's it. So, but I know that I can actually physically see it. To see the shift in front of your eyes is just, you sit back and just think, well, nothing to worry about, it's all in hand really. Everybody's getting on with their contract, we're all where we're meant to be, everybody's doing what they're meant to be doing. Yeah, it's amazing. Well, the elements, the beings are the elements. They take care of itself. Yeah, don't worry about it. Be happy. That's literally.
We're meant to be having fun here.
Yeah.
Because we're only visitors.
Yeah. And we're many places. Even though we're right here, right now, this now, our thoughts at any one time are completely moving in completely different dimensions all the time. It's just that we've forgotten this knowledge. But it's all coming